Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pivot, where we are talking to local businesses to learn how they are handling the pandemic and the sheltering in place and what they are doing to pivot their business. Today, we have Stacey Dillon.
Hello.
Hi. Stacey is the owner of Stacey and Company and 38 North Design, and which is event planning. Stacey has won the award in Marin County for the best event planner, wedding planner for how many times, Stacey?
Let's see, 2 years for the Pacific Sun Weekly, and fingers crossed we'll have a three-peat this year, but the results aren't in.
Woo! Okay, well, you're my vote.
Thank you.
So today we're talking to Stacey, and we just want to hear, I used to work with Stacey too, a little bit. So she's unbelievable event planner. Any kind of party that you have, she can handle it. And she's amazing and always has that beautiful smile on her face, no matter what's happening. So Stacey, again, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And tell me how everything is going in your life right now with the fact that we cannot have in-person events happening. And what are you doing? What's happening?
Well, let's see. When all of this went down, I was looking forward to a big gala, which would have been next weekend for 500 people, and really starting to put the finishing touches on that with a bunch of kind of small, more intimate gatherings, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, is a pivot that I was already working on that has now really come to fruition. But the first couple of weeks, I really just had to hunker down and be a mom, take care of the family. I have 3 kids with a pretty big age range spread. And not that I was paralyzed with work stuff, but it just felt a little almost frivolous at the time. Like what I felt like I had to do was figure out, how are we all going to live in this house together? How are we going to eat? How are we going to figure it out? Us living in Marin, we moved here for the schools, and it's already a stretch for our family. And so financially, with events canceling and revenues pretty much coming to a halt, put a big stress on our family in that area. So I felt it was really important to just figure out kind of what we were going to do and how we we're going to get through each day at the beginning. And quite frankly, I enjoyed being able to focus on that, of just, making meals, doing the dishes. And as much as, there was fighting about taking out the garbage and all that, that was kind of what I focused on, and really told myself that what was supposed to happen was going to come to me. And kind of a lot of that work that I know you and I have talked about a lot, but really trusting that what is supposed to be in this will show itself for me, and that it did. And clients started calling with different ideas, which were things I was already kind of, neutering around in my head and like, what could that look like? So that pivot stuff really happened organically, and I think right on plan, once I let it happen.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love how you just said, you just kind of took a moment to pause, really, is what you did. And to just kind of regroup, take a breather, take it all in,
Right.
And just try to reground yourself to figure out what was going to happen. And I love so much how you trusted in the process, in the universe, in yourself,
and that's a minute-to-minute trust. That's a minute-to-minute reframing. That's a day-to-day, morning mantras of waking up and going, the head starts, right? Oh shit, I got to do this. How am I going to pay for that? Who do I have to email about that? Is more people going to, and then saying, okay, wait, let me get to my tools. Let me quiet my mind. Let me do my morning mantras. Let me follow my gratitude journal, like those kinds of things. My little guy over here is starting to play with Legos. So just 1 second, I'm going to talk to him for a second.
Okay.
Hey, boo. The Legos are a little loud.
I I don't have
Here
any
we go,
problem.
running a business out of the home with 3 kids. This is the day in life.
Mine are upstairs with the door closed with the threat that I will kill them if they come out and bother my interview. So I get it.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think the thing about that, the tools, and this is, you know, pandemic or not, I really every morning have to reset and restart and think about what is important to me. And some days it's really hard and I don't really get it rolling and it's challenging. And other days I feel like when I actually follow my plan, when I do all 5 steps and I've got my exercise in at 11 a.m., I'm humming. I'm like, and everyone in the house kind of is like, oh God, mom's on fire today. What is she going to expect from us today?
She did her morning practice, her morning mantras. She's on fire.
Yes. Riley said the other morning she saw me out in the yard and she was like, oh God.
That's cute. Well, so tell me, you had sort of mentioned a little bit about how you were pivoting and what, and sort of some of the ideas that you had been noodling on. Where'd you end up? What's happening now?
Yeah. So, right around, I guess would be, you know, about 4.5 weeks in, I got a call from a longtime client. And she had right at the beginning, in mid-March, talking about putting a baby shower together for a friend, that would be a second baby that we had done her first shower. And, her and her friends had paused for a second, weren't sure what they were going to do. And then all of them felt like we have to do something. So she was reaching out for ideas and to see how I might be able to help. And I had been thinking about doing, so to step back one bit, over the last year, I've really been focusing on what I want to do with my business, and instead of letting it serendipitously happen, to plan and to ask, you know, the universe to bring it to me, but at the same time, what are the things I want to be doing each day? How do I want to be of service? How do I want to be part of people's lives? And what I realized there is the intimate gatherings, the things that are milestone celebrations, 80th birthdays, small weddings, where it's really about the coming together and celebrating that milestone is what makes my heart sing. And so I'd already launched lightly 38 North Design. So Stacey and Company was still there, but kind of transitioning and focusing on doing that celebrating in Marin, not traveling to do it. So I'm condensing my travel time, and my amount of time to spend with my family grows. So that was already a focus. So at the beginning of pandemic madness, I started thinking like, how can I transition this into today with what I was thinking? And that was where I wasn't at a place to do that. So let that chill, worked on mom and feeding and family and laundry and dishes, and then the client call. And so what I kept having this concept is, we're doing these Zoom calls, we're doing this, learning this new technology, at least for me, I hadn't really done a lot. But there seems that we could celebrate in this medium as well. So we created a party in a box format, which now we have 3 formats of that. And the one that we did for the first party was a virtual baby shower. So the guest of honor got a box with fun stuff in it, and then 12 guests each got individualized boxes that help them kind of create their Zoom zone, with little goodies, and it had games and a toilet paper sugar cookie and just fun stuff to kind of bring those little bits of whimsy and joy that we expect at an event. This time it came in the mailbox, and they were able to still surprise their friend. So she thought that they were just jumping on a regular Zoom call, but it was actually a virtual baby shower. And seeing the photos, like, just even I get the goosebumps now thinking about it, that they didn't miss that milestone for their friend. They were there to support her. It was cute. It was, you know, fabulously, you know, the boxes were amazing. And so it was still the same goal that I believe my clients have when they hire me, is to do something creative, unique, celebratory, and just super fun vibe. And so I thought we nailed it. So from there, I partnered with Kim at Celebrations of Marin, who's another fellow small business owner. And we're working on these party in a box concepts. So 3 buckets. One, you celebrate with your shelter in place crew. So if you're at home with 2 kids, if you guys were celebrating a milestone, accoutrements to do that, to make dinner special that night for whatever that milestone may be. And then the virtual baby shower, birthday parties that I just talked about. And then the third one, I was sort of introduced to the concept on TikTok, which is, of course, my new obsession, which my kids like to make fun of me about. And that is the sort of drive-by parade bit. And so we have one coming up on May 15th, which is an 18th birthday, and we're launching our package for that. And we're calling that the Beep Beep Hooray package.
I love that.
And that's really fun. That gives people a chance to drive by, see their friend, honk, wave, and again, providing, still branded, cute, fun, festive ways of doing that celebration. So we have a honorary t-shirt for the 18th birthday celebrant. We have a big decal that'll go on the garage, a lawn sign that goes where everybody's meeting up. So even though everyone's in their cars and they've got their masks on, there still can be that camaraderie of the meetup point and the drive-by. And it's just, I think, still a really fun way of doing things. It's just different.
Yeah.
And who knows exactly how it'll work out. I think these are some things that could play out fun in the future, even post what we're going through right now. But who knows what that's actually going to look like.
Yeah, I was going to ask you sort of what you envision taking forward from what you're learning now and what your sort of insights and different things that you have learned and what you think might still continue after you're done.
Yeah, and that's such a hard question right now. I have a couple of clients that still have events towards the end of the year. And they ask me my opinion, and it's hard sometimes because I have no idea where we are with COVID. Every day it seems a little different. Who's our expert? Who are we listening to? I don't know the answers there, but all I can tell them is I can take my 15, almost 16 years of event planning experience, and then take that pandemic stuff in as a person and apply the two and then give my recommendation. Mm-hmm. So I have 2 brides that are getting married in July, and they're the sweetest couple. And from the beginning, the things that were important to them was, that bonding, they're bringing their families together and making the commitment. And so we're now working to figure out how to do that and still have all of those same things with potentially 17 people in-house. And figuring out where we do that and that kind of stuff. So I can't quite answer the question yet because I don't really know what it's going to look like. I don't know, at the end of May when things are lifted, will that be 20 people? Will that be 40 people that are allowed to gather? Again, because with the launch of 38 North, I was already looking at doing these intimate, more petite celebrations. I think it's a blessing for me. It's the direction that I wanted to be going. And it allows me maybe to get rid of some of the guilt of you had a formula that was working, but you just don't like doing it anymore, which is probably something I need to continue to work on. Where does that come from? That's where you come in, right?
I was going to say, I'd be happy to help you with that.
I know you have a follow-up question in there. So.
Yeah. It's not a coaching call. Coaching call. We'll do that another time.
But I can see your wheels turning.
I'm holding myself back. One thing you did say, because I have 1 or 2 more questions for you. So you mentioned your newfound TikTok obsession. I kind of love to see what people like, these kind of like surprising little things that you found. So you love TikTok. Do you have like a new habit or a new swear word or like a new favorite song, or something from this time?
So a couple of things. One, we at the very beginning, my kids and I were listening to Mel Robbins. I don't know if you know her 5 second rule, and she was talking about how there's this stuff you're nagging at, and some stuff you have to let go. Like you just have to be like, not. I just can't care about that, and this is the thing I'm going to care about. So I care about the kitchen. I want that realm, the dishes, meals, garbage out, like that's important to me. And I'm trying to let the other stuff go. If there's piles of laundry, take it in. And to do that, she had suggested, like the crappy coworker, like, Bob's always leaving his lunch out on the communal table or whatever. So we have Megan and Bobby, and they are our two shelter-in-place family members that we blame everything on. So be like, Megan! And we had to have a boy and a girl because sometimes the things, are a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old boy that's Bobby, and we have to be like, Bobby, I think today's a bath day. So that's been kind of fun, and that'll probably linger on after. It just kind of helps, like for me to get that like frustration out, and then technically it's not at anyone specific in the home, but I think Megan and Bobby know who they are, but we try.
I love that. That's great.
And, I think also cooking. I mean, one of my things heritage-wise growing up, my grandmother's way to show love is to feed people. I grew up, my dad's Filipino, my grandma's Filipino, and so I grew up in this this culture of, people come into your home and you feed and you mother, and that's how you take care of people. And sometimes it gets lost for me because it isn't always natural for me to do that, the sort of homemaker style stuff. But when I do, it's what I just, I love it. And it helps us eat better. It helps me eat better. And then the trickle down effect of us eating better has all of its benefits. So that's a thing that, even though it's annoying and certain days I'm like, what it would be just if we could go out to Shake Shack or something would be so great. But I'm also really appreciating that. And our favorite game right now is Food Bank Chopped. And so we'll pick up free school lunches or a ham that we got.
Yeah. These are your 3 mystery ingredients. Please make something edible.
Yes. So then when we're eating, we play high-low, where everyone tries to figure out what is like the full price, good earth, organic item that we use. And then what's the other thing that the label, we weren't entirely sure.
Right.
So those are some of the fun things that as a family, we're trying to find the joy and the silliness and the laughs in those things, because if not, we would probably all be sitting around and crying. And so we just have to find the joy where we can, and remind myself when I don't feel like finding, beep, joy,
Mm-hmm.
that I know I will feel better if I do. And if I can just take a minute to have my pity party and then pick up and carry on, it will feel better.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic advice, because I think we can all be so hard on ourselves to always be upbeat, always be happy, always be productive, always be looking for the positive in everything. And that can be really hard sometimes. So to give yourself permission to just pause and to stop and to forgive yourself for the stuff that you're not doing.
Yep.
Because
and forgive, I learned a new thing on that is that forgiving is letting go of the hope that it could have been anything different. Mm-hmm. And that was so changing for me, because I think that's the thing. Well, if I coulda, shoulda, woulda, or what if I'd planned ahead, if I had, my Susie Orman 6 months in the bank, safety net, I wouldn't have to be eating ham. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot in that. I didn't ever want to have to be in that position, but at the same time, I tell my kids all the time, it is what it is. whatever that be, the homework's late, the missed whatever, the spent the whole day watching Disney movies you've seen 82 times. You really didn't need to watch Frozen again, but you did. And now it is what it is. Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
So
great advice. Thank you. Is there anything, well, as a community, what I wanted to ask is, how can we support you? How can we support Stacey and Company? How can we support Stacey and family and 38 North Design? What can we do to support you?
Well, thank you for asking that. I mean, I think one thing that's just been so great about this is like, you know who your peeps are, right? Like, I think you always do know who your peeps are, but then in situations like this, those people really ring true for you. And so the way that you can support me is to remember that these celebrations, you know, are still important, and not that you buy them from me or that, but if everyone keeps that nugget in their heart that celebrating is important, that will come back to me in the end. On my website, I do have a thing called Festivity Futures, where I'm allowing people to buy a gift certificate at a discount for a future date. So you know you have a bar bat mitzvah coming up, you know you have your husband's 40th birthday. You can buy my services now and bank them, and then when the party comes, you'll get those services at a discount. So that's one way if someone already knows that they're going to be ready to celebrate, and that sort of helps me keep the lights on now. And then for Mother's Day and moving forward, I've been just curating other small local businesses on my website and helping support them too. That, you know, when you're gonna buy, I know I am the Amazon mad woman and 52 boxes on the porch, but if it's really something that doesn't need to be here prime and you aren't really sure, a lot of times the things that you can get from local makers or people in your community is really amazing. But you have to go look for it, because it's not as easy as just going in and searching, you know. Right. So I think that's a full circle. My alarm's going off to tell me to take a midday
meditation break. I love it. Okay, well, I think we are done here as far as our conversation. That was really lovely, and I'm looking forward to working with Stacey on a future project myself. So stay tuned.
Yes,
for that. And everyone who's watching this, please subscribe to Ariane Olshansky Coaching and to this YouTube channel, because we all could use all the help we can get in every area. And Stacey, thank you so much for your time and for your energy and your insights. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I'm super excited to see what happens, and good luck with Party in a Box and everything. So
thank you so much. Great as always.
Thanks.